you become the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. And most people have fucking loser friends who don't do shit with their life. Like literally. Everyone thinks like, yo, my parents don't support me. My family doesn't support me. They're always trying to get me to eat shit. It's because, bro, you've been saying you're going to do it for the last fucking 10 years and you haven't done shit. Every time you don't do what you say you're going to do, the bitch voice is coming up. You will never find someone more successful than you talking shit about you.
Welcome back to the Seeking Success Podcast, the #1 podcast in Toronto. Today, we have a very special guest, man. We have Bishoi in the house.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Thanks for having me.
How the fuck does it feel, bro? To go from being fucking 350 pounds to being fucking what, Zeus?
Bro, the thing is, like, everyone thinks it's like you feel different, but it was such a, for you guys or people watching, it's like, yo, it's like a before and after.
Right.
But I was in it for the last 3 years, so it's like, to me, it was just such a slow, gradual grind. Nothing really changed.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But how's the mental like? Like when you're going through that, do you mentally feel like you obviously feel better about yourself, right?
Yeah.
Feel more confident. How much of a difference was it? Like how quickly were you able to notice that difference?
Yo, see, the thing is, a lot of people talk about confidence as if like, yo, fat people, they lack confidence because of their looks, right? Which for a lot of people, that's probably the case. It's like, you know, you don't feel like you're looking the best. People look at you differently, shit like that. But for me specifically, like I didn't really have that. Like I was a confident fat kid. But the problem was my lack of confidence stemmed from like guilt of not doing the shit that I needed to do. And so even now, like as great as my life is now, if I don't do things that I said I would do for, you know, a few weeks, then I will start feeling lack of confidence. And it's not because I've changed physically at all, you know, like I probably look the same, but it's because I made a promise and I didn't keep it. And so you start losing that sense of confidence in your word. And that translates to all aspects of your life. And so it has changed a lot because, bro, in the last 2.5 years, every fucking thing I said I would do, I ended up doing in terms of my fitness, and it translates to other walks of life, like my business, my personal life. Like I told my parents I'm coming home to dinner. I'm going to go home to dinner. It's not like, yo, I'm not going to make it anymore. I don't feel like it. Or I went out the night before it got lit and then, you know, was hungover the next day. And so that's the type of things that working on yourself and working on your fitness ends up translating to other areas of your life.
Oh, for sure. It was one thing that you said that I really liked was the autopilot. When you're talking to Andy Frisella, you're saying like when you have these habits in place and you just do them every day, they become autopilot, and it's like it takes that less energy because everyone has the time of day, right? It's so easy to blow off, like especially like a family event or something because you had a crazy night out. But it's those little truths you tell to yourself, right? That builds it up. And I could tell, bro, like even like seeing you, like the way you speak and the way you carry yourself, like I'm assuming even when you're fat, you don't just fucking change just because, you know, you fucking look sick now. It's just something that's within you. But before we go into your whole fitness journey, we really want to cover the entrepreneur side because it's amazing. We saw you graduate from university, you decide, I don't want to fucking take the job. Then you guys start a bunch of different brands and you guys get to Truewood. Yeah. Like, that's fucking, is that one of the Truewood hats?
Yeah, we actually just dropped these last Wednesday.
Sick. I saw the panel. I'm like, yo, is that a brand?
Yeah. So we started Truewood back in 2016. Just me and my boy Ibrahim in our high school dorm, university dorm. We were just fucking, you know, kids. We don't know shit. Like we were studying business, but like, bro, you realize quickly what you study in school is not what you end up doing in the real world.
Oh, right. Sure.
Yeah.
And so we ended up starting a bunch of businesses. We had like a underwear company. We were just trying to make money online, bro. That was the main goal.
Right.
And so we ended up starting Truewood in 2016. It ended up taking off right away through Instagram. Back when the feed was still chronological, you could do shout out posts.
Yes.
And so like, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but back then, if you were to pay a guy to post on their page, it would almost be shown to all their followers. Like everyone was seeing everything.
Oh, yeah.
And now it turned into, if you like something a lot more than something else, they'll show you more of this and not show you this shit more. And so back then it was really lucrative because you'd pay these guys, you know, like whatever, $500 for a post. You'd get millions and millions of impressions.
Yeah.
And then your shit would just instantly get sales.
Yeah.
And then when they switched to chronological feed and they were no longer showing everyone everything, these influencers didn't adjust their prices. And so now you're paying the same prices for the fucking 10% of what you used to get shown in terms of impressions. And so we had to quickly pivot there and get into the whole pay-per-click marketing channels, like actual Facebook ads, Google ads, and all that stuff. We just constantly learned, bro. And we bootstrapped this from the start. Like back then, we were drop shipping. Like I'm not even. A lot of people like to lie about that and be like, "No, man, we were never drop shipping, bro." Everyone and their fucking mother was drop shipping back in like 2016.
Yeah,
oh, for sure.
And so back then, that's how we started our business. But we realized real quick that is not a way to build a brand. You're just drop shipping random shitty products. And for us, it was a way to bootstrap as much cash as possible, so we could develop our own things, build our own company, get our own designs manufactured. And so that's what we did. We did the first 3 months of drop shipping until we collected enough cash to create our own production run, our own designs. We hired a design team to design our products. And we actually flew out to China, worked with our supplier for like a month, and we got shit done. We got our samples done, and it's been all she wrote since then, man.
God, what was that experience like being in China?
Yeah,
bro, China is the most fucking lit place on earth, man.
Really?
It's actually so sick because they don't really, especially the places we were in, it was like not very touristy. It was like the industrial side of things. And so everyone there, like you were like an anomaly there. So everyone, you were like a celebrity there. You get there, and we had a big black guy with us. He's like huge, and everyone's stopping him to take pictures with him and shit. So it's fucking jokes. Yeah, it was actually a dope experience because you don't really realize like how other people live, you know?
Oh,
it's
for
like,
sure.
because like I'm not to shit on Europe or all those other countries that people go to and like to tour to, but like it's very similar in the sense to like U.S. Canada culture compared to like some drastic change like India or Pakistan or China or something. So I love to see that. So we got to tour around and see all that stuff. Funny story about China, man. So in in Shanghai, there's a club that pays or doesn't pay. You get free entry, free cover, free booth, free bottles because the locals like to party with the foreigners, and so they charge the locals a lot more. And then the foreigners get a free booth and bottles for the whole night. And like it's just everything's comped. You're blessed the whole night. All you can drink.
You just made every kid watching this book their flight to China, bro.
Yeah, Shanghai, bro.
Bro, if that's cap, they're gonna come after you, bro.
No, we had some great China trips, man. We went like three times.
Wait. So you must really like partying over there.
Sorry, say that again?
You must really like partying over there.
Oh, it was, yeah. They actually do it big in like Shanghai. Even in Shenzhen, we found a club. This is actually hilarious. So my brother, he's got long dreads and shit.
Okay.
And so we're all going into the club in Shenzhen. No one speaks a lick of English in this city, like not at all. And my brother is like, he looks like a rapper. So we end up pulling up Lil Pump on fucking Spotify, and we're like, he looks similar to him. Like from a guy who doesn't know who Lil Pump is, you would think he was Lil Pump.
That's so jokes.
And we end up showing the club manager the Spotify, and I was like, yo, millions of views. He ends up giving us a free booth, free bottles and shit. Then we end up we ended up asking the club manager, I'm like, yo, can he perform? We were trying to get him up on stage.
No fucking way.
And he's like, yo, we usually got to book him and stuff. And he said no, but the next day he links us, and I guess he figured it all out. And he's like, yo, you guys think you can pay for the booth and bottles and shit?
Oh.
He was like trying to come get us after the next day. It was fucking hilarious.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, we should like do that somewhere.
God, bro. I think that's what people don't understand, the magic in traveling. And not just going to like a fucking resort or going to fucking downtown LA, like going to these random little pockets and just creating stories and memories.
Those
bro,
are
because
the best
you sound
spots.
like you're a fucking party animal, man. Like,
yo, we used to party a lot, man. Like back in university, I was partying 3-4 times a week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday sometimes. Like it was crazy. And then we'd go on these trips, we'd be drinking all day. And so like, yeah, that was the life, man. And then like you cannot drink recurrently like that and be on your fitness grind. Like it naturally stops. It naturally, like, you can't wake up hungover and go to the gym every single day. You might be able to do it one time a week, twice a week, just power through.
Yeah.
But if you're fucking partying 3-4 nights a week, you're not powering through 3-4 nights a week. You know, that's just how it is.
Yeah,
so
so
kills your willpower, bro. Can you imagine?
There are some people that actually do that, right? That actually, like, I know some people that like be fucking hammered the next day and they'll still go to the gym. How much does alcohol actually affect gains?
Yo, for me, it's not even about, it does affect your gains just because alcohol has a shit ton of calories they say it's empty calories Because what happens is your body burns the calories from the alcohol before anything you ate. It's one of the first things I get burned. It's 7 calories per gram. So that's just from the nutrition or like the actual calorie side of things. But from the lack of hydration, the shitty sleep you get from that.
Yeah.
There's so many added things with that come with the alcohol side of things that it's just such a bad thing for you to do. And so like that was one of the great things about the 75 hard program that I was doing. Is you were not allowed to drink for 75 straight days.
Yeah.
And so, it feels different because starting on a Monday, not hungover, and starting with the momentum of the previous week, and you're stacking these wins day after day for 75 straight days. Because most people work hard Monday to Friday. They go to the gym 5 times a week. They're eating clean. They're on top of all their shit. And then Saturday hits, they're eating like shit, they're going out, they're partying, they're drinking, they're smoking weed, they're doing whatever they need to do. And then Monday hits, you scaled everything you just did back, and you have to build back up from a place you already were the week before. Yeah. And so that is the power of doing something every single day, including weekends for extended periods of time.
Oh, for sure. Because, because what you're saying is like almost like a 1 step forward, 2 step back approach, right? Which, I can't count the amount of times that, myself or other people I know got into that.
Guys hungover all the time, bro.
Never. But we're going to touch into 75 hard in a second. But the last business really question I want to ask you, would you say, is university worth it?
Ooh. Honestly, no, I would not put my kids through university, especially in this day and age. Like, everything you need to fucking learn is on the internet. The one benefit I would say from university is that it gives you the structure, the framework to follow on how to learn things. So it teaches you how to find the answers you do not know. That's the benefit of university.
100%.
Not the actual things they're teaching you.
Yeah.
It's the structure of how to find answers, how to figure things out on your own.
Yeah.
And even like having to study for a test, like giving you the structure that I need to learn this by X amount of days. If you can somehow build some sort of internal discipline on your own end, is like, today I want to learn to be a photographer. I'm going to watch these courses, and today I'm going to do 4 hours of this. I'm going to learn this. I'm going to do this. If you can build that on your own, then the internet is a fucking endless pool of information that's way better than a university professor who's going to teach you that.
Some outdated shit too.
Because at the end of the day, bro, I'm not to talk shit about professors, but you know what they say is like, if you can't do, teach. So like a lot of the times, bro, these professors are not to talk shit. A lot of them are good professors, but most of the time, like if you can actually build a fucking great business, why are you sitting there teaching people to build a business when you haven't done shit yourself?
God, that's big.
You know what I
facts.
mean?
That's very true. I think like, because we strongly believe in that too. Like, I dropped out of school within a week, right? I was like, yeah, fuck this. I think, sure, maybe past couple of years there was a little bit of a debate. Okay, maybe you should go to school, maybe, because entrepreneurship's hard, right? But I think especially now with AI, it's like a fucking no-brainer. Like
crazy.
anything you want to learn, you literally can get it like that, right? And I don't know. I feel like the debate's fully over now.
Bro, it's fully over. I just want to piggyback off what you're saying though about the main thing, because I went to college, I graduated as well, and the same takeaway I had was the one thing I learned how to learn. You know, I feel like I missed that in high school and elementary school. But that was the main takeaway, right? The actual content was, it was some of it's decent, but that was a big takeaway, right?
Yeah, and the thing with university too, or any schooling system, is they fill it with a bunch of fluff for money. Like, bro, if I'm taking computer science, why the fuck do I have to take a psych course or a random ass electives and pay them thousands of dollars for that course when it's not even in the field that I need to even excel at?
Yeah.
And so you're wasting a fuck ton of time too.
Yeah.
4 years, how many courses did you take that were actually related to what the field you were studying it?
True.
It's a waste of fucking time if it's not like, if it's like a doctor or like a lawyer or some profession that needs some sort of accreditation, then I'm for it. Like, you cannot you can't learn to be a doctor online.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you know what I mean?
For sure.
But if it's like things that are like business, I think the best way to learn business is by doing it or learning from people who have done it.
Oh, for sure.
Not a professor who's never even fucking started a business in his life, who's read a couple books, done a PhD on business, who starts teaching about business.
God.
Yeah.
No. And okay, and I also want to ask you, because you did the dropshipping thing quite successfully, because you went on to doing dropshipping to now building a brand, right? What is the difference between you and everyone else, their moms, everyone else who fucking just started drop shipping. Why'd you succeed?
The difference between me and most people that did drop shipping is that people saw drop shipping as the be all end all. How do I make money as quick as possible? And I knew that was not the way. The longer something takes usually results in better end result. And now we're pushed in society. Everyone's pushing the quick fix, the hack to every fucking thing because no one wants to sit there and put in work.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people look at drop shipping. They see a bunch of people making a shit ton of money online and be like, yo, I can make 20K in a fucking month. My first month, I can make 20K. But you're not building anything at the end of the day. You're just reselling products of other people's. And then when that product dies out, let me find another product and pop it in, which is great if you want to make money. But you have to constantly be looking for the next product. And you're not really connected or passionate about what you're doing anymore.
For sure.
And so at some point, man, you have to look at the big picture and build and think, I want to build something bigger, something that is a brand that people actually fuck with. Because if you look at large brands like, you know, Gucci or all these big companies, their shirts do not cost that much to manufacture, but they're able to sell it for that much because of the cult-like following they have with everything and people don't buy a t-shirt just because of the quality. They buy because of what the company stands for. They buy the culture of the company, not just the product.
Oh, for sure.
And so, you know, that's what it comes down to is how do I build a culture, a brand that people fuck with, a message that everyone wants to come in on and build a community rather than selling a one-time transaction. Because everyone knows in business, it is the hardest thing is to get the first customer. And then if you're not building anything on the back end, all you're doing is trying to find a new customer instead of building a community that recurrently buys from you and something like people have made more success of having 1,000 fucking diehard loyal fans than any one of these drop shipping companies who have 100,000 purchases that are one-time purchases.
One-timers, yeah.
Well, so where did that mindset come from? Like, how did you have that starting off? Like, oh, I want to build something as opposed to making a quick buck.
So growing up, man, like I was definitely into the self-development space, like early on. Like I was reading a bunch of business books, a bunch of like, you know, just not even just business books, like meditation books, like The Power of Now, things like that.
Best book ever.
A bunch of those books. So it just got me on the right trajectory. And then obviously just looking at like people who have done it, like people like Andy Frisella or, you know, all these other people that are coming up. And it's just like, they end up having an impact on you. And you know what they say, you become the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. And most people have fucking loser friends who don't do shit with their life, like literally. And so if you are one of those people who cannot find someone in real life that you can connect with, that is the power of the internet. That is the power of having everyone at your fingertips. Like make those people, those internet or internet sensations or people who have actually done it, make those your 5 people that you surround yourself with through the content that they put out.
Oh, for sure.
And so that's kind of how I got into the whole space.
Fair. Should we talk about the Andy Frisella stuff?
Yeah, let's jump into that side of things.
Let's talk about it. So on the podcast, he said it was very emotional when he saw your transformation video, and you obviously look up to him a lot. How did it feel hearing that from him, knowing that you actually made an impact on him?
Yeah, no, that was actually so I saw it on Instagram. So when I first posted that slideshow video, he ended up posting a story on his Instagram, like, and he was like crying, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? I had like, it's crazy because this guy is like the biggest role model for me right now, and he has had the most impact on my life in the last 3 years, and so to see that, it like almost felt surreal, and it was like, bro, like the guy who had the biggest impact on me is acknowledging what I've done, which was like, that was the best feeling ever. Like I was on cloud 9 for real.
Nah, man, that was crazy because watching that podcast and some of the other podcasts you did, it was a moment for me too, where I'm like, damn, like I felt like that similar story of like, I've always been that chubby kid who struggled losing weight, then gaining it all back, losing weight, gaining it all back. And I always use the excuse of, oh, things are working out for me on the money side, so you know maybe I could go in the gym later. But it was last night I was just watching the podcast. I'm like, you know what? Setting my alarm. I'm going for a run tomorrow. And today's a fucking packed day, bro. We have this. We got a next shoot after. Like fucking packed. But I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go. And it's funny. My own wife, she started laughing. She said, you know how we get to fucking go for a run? She's like, are you crazy? You have a fucking long day tomorrow. Just relax. Go like the next day. I'm like, no, I'm gonna do it. And even like when the alarm clock rang in the morning, like every inkling in my body wanted to hit like snooze or another 15 minutes. I just kept thinking to myself, I'm like, yo, it's gonna be that same loop. And I'm like, got up, fucking brushed my teeth and I was running. And even when I was running, I'm like, I wanted to beat my last run, which was 4 kilometers. I'm like, I'll go a little over 4 kilometers. But after my first K, I'm like, fuck, should I just call it 1K today?
Well, that's the thing with that, because when you're sitting at home fucking under your warm, fuzzy blanket, you're feeling like you could do some shit until you start running out there, and then you're like, fuck. Then your bitch voice starts kicking in, and you're like, yo, I didn't do this. I've done 1 kilometer. I haven't done that before in a long time. Let me do this. It's good. It's good enough. And it's funny the thing you said about your wife, because a lot of people say that, you know, they feel like their family members don't support them in a sense. And that's not the fucking case. No. It's because you have told your wife 100 times that you were going to fucking do something and you never done it.
Exactly.
So people are not going to respect your word anymore in a sense. So that's why everyone thinks like, yo, my parents don't support me. My family doesn't support me. They're always trying to get me to eat shit. It's because, bro, you've been saying you're going to do it for the last fucking 10 years and you haven't done shit. And so eventually, you know, that all changes when you start keeping your word to yourself. People will start respecting you when you start respecting your own word. And so it's not that they're trying to pull you down. It's they're just making pokes at it and fun at it because that's what you've been doing.
I think they do it subconsciously too. Like, they probably don't even realize like why they're doing it. That
makes sense, bro. Like, cause like every fat person's been through this, right? It's like they go through the weight loss journey, and how many times you start one and like fucking you tell everyone, and like day one hasn't even started yet, you know? I've done that so many fucking times. Like, yo, day one starts tomorrow. Tomorrow comes us tomorrow. It's fucking horrible. But I do want to say, man, I want to thank you because ever since I saw your page a couple months back, it was a big inspiration to see somebody have that much dedication, determination, because that's painful, right? Like, you are making it look like it was easier than it was, but 350 pounds on your knees, on your joints, on your neck, on your backs, like, that's a fucking, especially to be running at all fucking workouts, that's, you know, applaudable. So I really appreciate you sharing that story, because like, I feel like I'm gonna take a personal impact from it, and hopefully maybe this will be the time I complete the 75 hard.
Yeah, tomorrow, right?
Thank you, man. But the thing on that is, man, like, it's who I was surrounding myself with, because I was not looking to the average fucking Joe who's not doing shit. I was looking at David Goggins, James Lawrence, people who are doing crazy shit, who've like run on broken knees or broken legs. And so when that is the standard, when that's the people that I surrounded myself with, running didn't seem that crazy to me. That's like true. Just being that heavy, even though it did, bro, it killed my knees hurt, my back hurt. I could barely walk for too long without like having to pant for like I was panting, like I couldn't even breathe real properly. I would run for like a minute, take a little walk, and then run another minute until I slowly etched that up. And I ran my first marathon last year, which is fucking nuts for someone who couldn't even walk for 10 minutes.
Fucking, what was your time?
Yeah, what was your time?
4:09, 4 hours and 9 minutes. No, like,
that's
bro,
good.
I really wanted to crack the 4 hour mark.
Yeah, that's like everyone's like go-to milestone. Like, I gotta get a sub 4 hour run.
But I was still heavy back then. I was like I want to say 250. So this year I got one in October 15th, the Toronto Marathon. So we'll see how that does. I hopefully will crack that.
What are you weighing right now?
195, 200.
195. Yeah, okay. And I also want to ask you a more personal question. So going from 350 pounds, for those who didn't know, and then you go all the way down to like sub 200, you're gonna have a lot of loose skin.
Yeah.
Like, have you went through a procedure of getting the surgery, or do you plan on it?
No. So a lot of people ask me that. That's actually the number one question people ask me. Like, yo, what are you gonna do with the loose skin? What are you gonna do with the loose skin? Honestly, for me, it doesn't bother me that much, because it was never a physical appearance issue for me, like the confidence and all that stuff. It was more to do with the mental side of things, of not doing what I needed to do. And so it doesn't bother me that much. And also, bro, I'm fucking terrified of doing surgeries. Like, I've never done a surgery. I don't ever want to be put to sleep, because I'm shook I'll never wake up. Like, you end up fucking going to sleep and waking up in heaven or some shit. So I just, if it's not necessary, I don't really want to do it. But maybe that'll change down the line.
Okay, dude, where's that stem from? Because when I was doing my research, I saw you had a couple incidents where you had panic attacks due to health concerns.
Yeah.
Where's that coming from? Is it like you got traumatized as a child at the hospital or something?
Bro, I have no idea. But that panic attack situation was like that wasn't even a recurring thing. That was just a one-time thing.
Yeah, one time.
Yeah, it was just a one-time thing, except for the next year I had panic attacks. But that was the only time, like,
you actually called the ambulance.
Yeah, I called the ambulance or saw, and it's crazy to me, because I'm not someone who grew up with depression or anxiety. Like, a lot of people do, which I feel for them, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why it was so scary to me, because I never experienced anything like that. So I genuinely thought I was having a fucking heart attack. I was going to die. I called my boy. The ambulance comes. I'm in the back of the gurney. My heart rate's at 180 in the back of the gurney. And I'm like begging them, like, yo, please don't let me die, man. Please don't let me die. I'm calling my brother, like, yo, I love you. Say bye to mom and dad. Like, I thought that was it. And you know, a lot of times people think that that's the situation that would scare you straight. Like you got to be fucking stupid to go back into eating like shit, and it wasn't. Like I was on top of my shit for maybe like a month. Went on a trip to China, came back, all the momentum gone, and that was it, bro. That was it.
Fucking hell.
The guy really likes the clubs in China, bro.
Yeah, bro.
No, it's funny because I have a very similar story. I was like, oh, I can't breathe. I was having a panic attack. I was like 17. And bro, I was always a smiley kid. Never had depression, never had anxiety. I'm like, yo, I'm literally gonna fucking die. I'm telling my dad, I'm like, I'm gonna die, and fucking call an ambulance. Ambulance comes, I go there, and they're like, yeah, like everything's fine. I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean everything's fine? Like I literally just thought I was gonna die. And bro, anxiety, man, it's just one of those things where it's like
panic attacks are fucking insane.
And that's why it lasted for a whole year after, because I didn't want to accept that it was just a panic attack. Because accepting that it was a panic attack would have to accept that it was in my power to change it, versus accepting that I had a physical issue, like, you know, I had some heart problems. Like it sounds so fucking stupid to say this, but I almost wished I had a physical problem, that it wasn't like something that I had to take care of myself. You know what I mean? And that's what it is like, it's wild.
Well, so we talked about it, right? Like you can either make your mind your slave, or you could be a slave to your mind. And we talked about the bitch voice a couple times already. How do you conquer that fucking voice in your head that just always makes you want to go back to your bad habits?
So the thing with the bitch voice, or like, you know, the warrior versus the bitch inside you, because everyone has a warrior inside them and everyone has that bitch voice inside them. And people think that, you know, even now after everything I've done, I've killed that bitch voice. But the thing is that voice is never dead. Like it's still inside you, just so quiet, and you don't listen to it anymore.
Yes.
And so that's the end goal for anything. And the way to quiet that voice down and get that warrior voice to arise is every time you say you're going to do something, you actually fucking do it. And then the warrior comes up a bit more, and it comes up a little bit more, until that is the person running your life. And if you it's literally a game, bro, because every time you don't do what you say you're going to do, the bitch voice is coming up.
Yeah.
For sure,
And every time you do what you say you're going to do, the warrior voice is coming up. And it's a constant battle between these two voices in your head. And who's going to win at the end of the day is the person who you listen to more, and who you actually did what you said you were going to do more.
Oh, for sure.
And that's what it comes down to. Like with everything too, it's not even just fitness. Like whatever you say you're going to do, like being a person of your word. If I said I'm going to do something, if I committed to doing something, I have to get it done regardless.
Oh, for sure.
And that's what it takes to, you know, get rid or quiet down that bitch voice.
For sure.
Well, I think that's like a very masculine trait, right? Like we see a lot of the traditional women be complaining, or women in general be complaining that the men aren't men anymore. And I think a huge part of that is
softness.
Yeah, they say they're gonna do something and then they don't do it. Bro, I fucking hate that shit too, bro.
God, it's
like,
crazy.
Fuck.
Like a lot of people live their life like that. Like we are so addicted to being comfortable that nothing else matters. Like the slightest bit of discomfort or being put in an uncomfortable situation, everyone wants to just fucking run. We are trained to do this, bro. Like you for years and years and years of your whole life growing up, you know, oh, you don't feel like doing this, it's okay, you don't have to do that today. And it's like, no, man, you have to do hard shit.
Oh, for sure.
You cannot find discipline in a comfortable setting. You have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations.
For sure.
And I think the reason is like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Like we're so like everything, our food, shelter, clothing, that's all like fucking easy.
Yeah.
And I think it's our primal instinct. Like we're taught to fucking either we fear everything and run, or face everything and rise. And we don't have to go and hunt for food anymore. So now it's like we have these little fucking problems that seem like they're big problems when in the grand scheme of things they're not. Like, could you imagine explaining to cavemen that people are fucking depressed because they don't get likes on a post?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that. Like that's fucked to me. Is like it's a first world problem, bro. Like for real. Like you think these people who are starving overseas are going through depression? They're fucking fighting for their life every single day. And you know, I'm not gonna knock on people. Do have clinical depression or actual like chemical imbalances in their brain, but a lot of the times people do not realize that depression has gotten so mainstream now because you're forced to look at every single thing that you're doing in life and thinking like, yo, is this enough? Or, you know, am I doing enough in life? And so no one really looks at themselves and saying that I can take care of this part of my life. It's like, oh, this is happening to me. Things just happen to me, rather than it being something that you are the person that can control your outcome in life. And no one wants to take that ownership these days. And so that's why most people are depressed.
Oh, for sure.
You're not doing the shit that you should be doing. We're not meant to be sitting down and fucking scrolling through Instagram or TikTok for 14 hours a day, not doing anything with our life. You know, that's not what we're meant for.
I guess it's comparison as well, right? Because often you'll see the people that are afraid to be judged are often judging a lot of people themselves, and you'll realize that everything is really just yin and yang. It's fucking insane.
It's balance.
Well, that's what I think Goggins said this or something. You will never find someone more successful than you talking shit about you. Like it's anyone who talks shit is usually coming from a place that's worse than you. Goggins said this, like, you never have a fucking multi-billion-dollar business guy talking shit about a guy trying to start a business.
For sure.
Or the people think the biggest jacked guy in the gym is probably the scariest, meanest guy ever, but that guy is the most likely to support your journey because he knows what it's like. So only the people talking shit are the people who are sitting on the couch being like, you're fucking taking steroids or you're not doing shit. You know what I mean? It's just like, you're probably not doing shit with your life. No one talks shit about someone in a lower position than them.
For sure.
Right.
For sure. That's big. I love the perspective on that.
I think it was Goggins that said that. I remember,
so,
Yeah. But going back to 75 Hard, I wanted to ask you a question about 75 Hard, but real quick, what is a 75 Hard?
So 75 Hard is a mental toughness program created by Andy Frisella. People like to think it's a fitness program because it involves 2 workouts a day, but you know, there are better fitness programs out there. You don't have to go this extreme to get your health in order, but this is the one program that I know personally that will get you in the right mental headspace to keep the weight off and win at all aspects of your life. So what the program is for 75 straight days, you're doing 2 workouts a day. One of them has to be outside. Rain, shine, snowing, blizzard, whatever the fuck it is, it has to be outside, one of them. They're 45 minutes each.
Yeah.
A gallon of water, 10 pages of reading a day. I'm blanking because this is how I live my life now. It doesn't even seem like a fucking task anymore. 2 workouts a day, gallon of water, no alcohol, no cheat meals, 10 pages of reading a day.
Sick.
Yeah.
Okay. Because when I was doing my research, if I'm not mistaken, you completed 8 75 Hard so far?
No, so I did 3 75 hards, but there's also phases after. Yeah. So I've probably done 3 75 hard and then 8 of the phases. So like 11 parts
total.
of the things of the program. Yeah.
And from what I heard is every time you started, you've never failed one?
I've never failed. I've never failed or quit a single phase. Like when I started, it was done till the end.
That's fucking phenomenal. The reason why I asked is because the first time I ever did 75 hard, I went literally, if I'm not mistaken, it was either 39 days or 44 days. I don't remember the numbers. One of the 2 days. It was like fucking perfect. And the thing that would go through my mind was in one of his episodes of the 75 Hard, the original first 75 episodes, he said something like, yo, if you could do it one day, just repeat that day over again. And that was the mindset I had. Repeat the day over again. It was weird though, because I wouldn't chill. I wouldn't go out because I didn't have the discipline yet. So it was just one day I went out with my wife at the time and everything got fucked up. And ever since then, every time I attempted 75 Hard, it's just like, I feel like because I fucked up once, like mental thing, I'm like, I could just restart again. But what would you say to someone out there like who's struggling with this and they keep fucking failing and restarting? What would your advice be, being someone who just fucking try and true, just did it?
Wait, have you finished it yet?
Never.
Oh shit. Okay.
Never.
See, the problem with quitting once is now you have that mental reference of the day you quit.
Yeah.
And so if you even make it to like, what day did you say you quit on?
Let's just say 39.
39. If you quit on day 39, if you make it to day 41, you already feel like a sense of completion. And so now, you know, it gives you permission to dip because you're like, at least I beat last time. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy.
That's what he did after.
Yeah, it's crazy how our mind works, man. So like that's the thing is like, but that also shouldn't discourage someone who's failed so many times to not continue and actually finish it.
For sure.
And the thing is, man, like for me, winning is just how I did 75 hard was doing the same thing every single day. Literally, that was the only way. Because whenever I started having to throw in external things, like now I got this thing I got to go to or this thing I got to go to, the whole day requires thinking now versus it being on autopilot. And that's the thing that people think I'm fucking crazy because I eat the same exact meal at the same exact time every single day. I might throw in a little variation, but the base layer is the exact same. And people are like, yo, this is how do you enjoy your life? How do you enjoy your food? And for me, like food now is just fuel for my body. I need this amount of protein, this amount of carbs, this amount of fats to fuel my activities for the day. And you lose this attachment to food as being like a source of dopamine, a source of happiness. Now my source of dopamine and happiness is sleeping at the end of the day and seeing that everything that I said I was going to do that day got done. That's where I get my happiness from.
For sure.
And so that's the thing, like it's building habits, and momentum is done through just doing the same thing repeatedly. And the thing is, like, especially on day 39 or something, when you that's a common place for people to like quit on that day or around that area, because the excitement of having to start something new is now faded, and it's turning into something that's no longer exciting. And so it's actually funny. Andy even wrote about this in his book. The hardest days for most people is day 55 to day 65, because now it's a point where all excitement is faded, but you're still physically like broken from doing 2 workouts a day. And now it's just like, I'm so close to the end, and people feel like they can celebrate early, like it's done, you know? And that's the problem.
You see the physical benefit, but by day 40, I think I was already down 20, 25 pounds. It was massive. Everyone saw a difference. It was one of those things where it was like, you know, one thing
like,
changed in the day, and it's like, fuck it. And it was so bad too, because I went like fucking almost 40 days clean eating, bro. So like that day I was having a steak.
Oh, was that the day where you just
ate fucking everything, bro?
Yeah,
I got a
bro.
fucking poutine,
Holy
fucking ribs.
Bro, I remember.
Bro, I felt sick the next day, bro. Right after, bro, I went straight to get fucking, and I don't know how, but I was so fucking full to the point where we had to pack the food up and went right walking distance to dessert, bro. And we drove there too.
I remember. Okay, I remember this now. Bro, this guy was actually on it, and I was like, okay, this guy's killing it. There's one day in our like Snapchat group chat, he sends like some crazy food. I'm like, wait, I was confused. I was like, okay, maybe it was like something. And then he literally puts in the chat, fuck it, I'm gonna fucking, I'm quitting today.
Fuck it.
And bro, his snaps are just bare food, like crazy meals.
He went off the rails.
Off the rail.
Bro, I remember this thing so clearly now. It's so funny.
The issue with me is, and I'm realizing this as I'm getting older, is I have a very fucking psychological attachment to food. Like for a lot of people, it's just food. They just eat whatever. Like I find like love in it, bro. Like I fucking when I have bro, it's
bro, I resonate with that heavy though.
It's gonna sound crazy, but like, yo, there's a big difference for me to get fast food or like fucking something from a nice kitchen, or even my wife or my mom cooks something. It's like, bro, I could taste the love, bro. That's why I eat at a lot of mom and pop restaurants, because I could. It's so fucking, it's bad. So that's usually the fucking toughest part for me, is anytime I go on a fitness journey, is the diet. It's like fucking mentally crushing, because it's like now there's already the obstacle of you're eating less food, but now it's also like, bro, it's so weird. I can't eat healthy food sometimes. Like I'll be eating it, bro, and like I'm starving, but it's like I just can't eat the food.
I think it takes a while for your taste buds or like your palate to shift. Because even now, like, you know, when I eat clean for a long period of time, and then I have like that cheat day, I've built that cheat day up in my head more than it actually ends up being, because I have the food. I'm like, bro, this doesn't even taste that fucking good anymore. Like I actually crave the things that I already have, which people think you're lying because they haven't done it. But bro, I'm telling you, like I actually enjoy the things that I eat now, because it like my taste buds changed. And then how you feel after too. It doesn't. You don't feel groggy. You don't feel like shit. And you don't feel guilty, because the one thing that the one thing I try to avoid all times is like trying to feel guilty about myself, because a lot of times, bro, people do some great shit in their life 1 time or 2 times, and then they go back, and that will forever leave you in a state of uncomfortable position with your life, because once you peek behind the curtain of what it would have been like if you had continued on that path, so you got some success in some area of life, your business, your fitness, your health, and then you got to go back and you go full in the opposite direction. You will never be satisfied with your life again, because you have peeked behind the curtain of what success looked like, and now you fuck that off. It's almost the sense like ignorance is bliss to a point. Like not knowing how great your life could have been is almost better than knowing and then still not doing it.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. And I think another big issue too is money makes you so much more able. Like one thing you said that fucking super resonated with me is the thing about like ordering fucking Uber Eats the first thing you woke up. Bro, I went through a period of my life where money was amazing, bro. And I quit my 9 to 5 at that point, 100% content creator. I literally wake up, eyes not even open yet, rolling for my food, automatically going straight to skip the dishes, bro. Like there'd be times I woke up, I don't even remember I ordered food, bro.
Bro, that's exactly
what
I used to
autopilot,
do.
bro. It was when you said that, I was dying. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, that was literally me. We're like, now it's not that bad, but it's crazy because money makes you able, you know, where like you could fund these bad habits. Personally, I don't drink alcohol. Never did, never will. It's for religious reasons, right? So that was the easiest part, 75 hard, but like the food was just...
The food is tough for a lot of people, man, because like, a lot of our life is centered around food. It's like, yo, let's go out for... Even the alcohol too. It's like, yo, you want to go out for drinks? Or you want to go... you know, anything. You got a birthday, it's usually a birthday dinner. You got a graduation, you're celebrating someone's new job, it's usually a dinner.
For sure.
And so it's very tough to say no to these things.
Yeah.
And people feel like they have to say no to these things. You can still go and still choose the healthy option.
Yeah.
But the problem is if you have not built the discipline to say no and and everyone around you is fucking crushing wings and burgers and shit, you're not being like, yo, give me a chicken salad, no dressing, please. Like no one's doing that, yo. You know what I mean? And so you have to have the discipline built before you can able to do that. So when I first started, I was not even going out at all. Like I was not doing shit other than this. This became my first priority.
Fair.
But even with like alcohol, like when you're out on like a dinner or whatever, it's like, oh, like let's take a shot. It's like, no, bro, I don't want to take a shot. It's like, no, come on, on me. And it's like,
And it's like, people keep pushing the alcohol things on other people too, is because like it's just a social thing, and and especially if you were known to be the guy that drank at one point, like you were the party dude. You cannot say no when people pull up,
do you get that a lot?
Yeah, I used to get that a lot. Now, no, but back then, it's like, bro, come on, who gives a fuck? Like, just start tomorrow. Like, you're known as the party out, like, you know, the raging drinker, like, you're just partying
like, come on, you're that guy,
bro. But even drunk people in general, bro, like, 'cause I don't do it often, but 1-2 times I'll go party and not drink sober, and it's like,
just coke instead.
Bro, the drunk guys will be like, fuck it, bro. It's like, nah, man, it's a religious reason. Fuck it, bro. Just have a drink. It's like, nah, I'm bad. Bigger than this moment, but that's fucking crazy. That's it's interesting.
Yeah, should we all just do a shot right now?
No.
Okay.
Do you indulge at all anymore? Like, do you?
Yeah. So people think I'm like some fucking 75 hard poster boy now. Like I live my entire life like this, like
75 life.
Yeah, and like yo, I live most of my life like that. Like I probably drink like maybe 5 times a year, like a few times a year, where I'm like, but I go hard. Like I was never one of those guys that had like a beer with like a pizza or some shit like that. Like I was.
That's disgusting.
It was either bro. A lot of people like casually drink. I don't really do that. If I'm drinking, I'm getting fucked. Like
up.
that's it.
Blacking out.
Yeah. So like I do that like a few times a year. I was gonna say a few times a week.
The truth's coming out.
Exposed. Yeah, no. I do that a few times a year, and I still like. It's just being able to bounce back.
Yeah.
Because if I kept doing that for like a few weeks in a row, or it's so easy to go down that path. You drank on Friday. People ask you to go out on Saturday. You're hungover all day on Sunday, eating like shit, watching TV. It's so easy for Monday to roll around and be like, you said you would go, this is it. It was a weekend vibe. That's it. One weekend every few months. And it's so easy to just continue on that path. Yeah. And then, bro, you're going down a dark road, and it's so hard to get yourself out.
For sure.
And that's why, man, momentum is the number one thing in anything you're trying to do in life. If you have momentum in a positive direction, hold on to that shit like your life depends on it, because it does.
Fair.
Bro, that's another thing. Like when this guy, like when you traveled, I was like, okay, that's gonna be the one like period where like, okay, I'll go out for a weekend or whatever. Because when this guy's like in town or we're both in the same place, there's no way we could be like fucking off and like partying and whatnot. It's crazy.
Yeah, fucking hell. Okay, very quickly, a lot of people watching this may want to be starting 75 hard. What would be some suggestions you'd give them for content to read? Because the 10 pages, right? So they want to pick up some books. What are some books you'd recommend?
So when I first started 75 hard, the first few books that I read were all centered around getting my mind right. So now I read a bunch of business books and shit that knowledge I would like to acquire. When I first started, it's getting my mind, pointing in the right direction in terms of being able to do things that I thought were impossible for me. So some of those books are like Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. He actually came out with another book, Never Finished, just as good. Tim Grover's Relentless. I read that like multiple times a year because it's just so fucking, it aligns your goals perfectly to getting shit done. Those are great books to start off with. I read a book called Born to Run, which is about a tribe that runs 50 kilometers, 100 kilometers a day in their bare feet every single day.
Fuck.
So it's like kind of breaking the mental barrier of what you think is possible for you, and those are the types of books that I sought after, because, everyone puts these limitations on you, and you put these limitations on yourself as well. And so surrounding yourself with examples of people who have done crazy shit made me feel like what I was doing was not that difficult.
Oh, for sure.
So those are the types of books that I'd like to seek out at the beginning.
And I think a good point that you made is like, you know, that you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. A lot of people always ask like, oh, how do I find these people? I think people overcomplicate it. It doesn't have to be someone physical. It could literally be like consume fucking hours of this guy's content a day. And it's equivalent to you spending time with him. Because we live in that world now where you can literally be with them.
Bro, I literally, physical example, bro. Last night, I watched the podcast. This morning, woke up, went for a run. Came home, took a cold shower. It was fucking brutal because I haven't took one in months. And then I literally, because I heard you guys say in the podcast talking about Relentless. I love that book. Read it a couple times. Like, you know what? Fuck it. I haven't read it in 3 months. Let's grab Relentless. Start from the beginning.
Oh, you started reading that?
Yeah, like
that's fucking crazy.
Bro, literally from the podcast. 'Cause I heard both. Even Andy said he reads it a couple times a year. I'm like, you know what? I haven't read this one in like I think 2 years now.
I don't think I've read that one.
Oh, it's fucking.
That's great, man.
It's a short read too. It's like 160 pages or something. But I'm like, fuck it. Like that's so important. It could be like that one. Bro, how many times do you like on social media too? You're scrolling, watching nonsense, and one motivational clip will come off, and it's like, turn the fucking phone off. Just get back to it.
Okay, the best ones are those videos where like it'll be like a 1 second like a hot girl, and then it'll be like, get off your fucking phone, bitch. Those are so funny.
I see those ones.
That's hilarious.
They're so good.
I love those ones.
We're basically, unfortunately, we're really short on time. So
let's talk about
we have a couple of these questions. Can we just rapid fire them to you?
Just like quickly.
Just because we do want to get through them. The first one is, how does it feel? You know, obviously we touched on Andy Frisella, you know, being a big part of your life and now, you know, giving that recognition, but also fucking Elon Musk.
The GOAT.
We saw Elon Musk tweet back or to you on one of your posts.
Yeah, bro. I didn't even post that. Some guy I don't even have Twitter. Like I don't really have Twitter. Some guy posted my video and then I woke up. I never look at my phone until I come back from my run. And so I come back from my run, I'm looking at a bunch of people sending me pictures of fucking Elon saying wow. And I was like, shit, man, that's
fucking
crazy.
Legendary.
That's nuts.
Fucking legendary.
That's fucking sick. Okay, what was the moment that you decided you wanted to make change? Like what clicked for you? What was like your epiphany moment?
Yo, a lot of people like to pinpoint a specific moment or think that they can pinpoint a specific moment. I really don't think there was a specific thing that made me want to start. There's a final straw, obviously the last thing that made me want to change, which was like a trip to Mexico with the boys. We're all partying, and we usually go to these trips and party and drink and do whatever the fuck we want to do. But eventually, it was during COVID, and so no one was on the resort, no one to party with. So everyone wanted to do like random shit, like skidoo, jet ski, all these things that require fucking moving, which I hate, which I couldn't do. And so coming back from that trip, I was like, bro, this is it. My boy had just done 75 hard back in December. He was going for his second round. He asked me to do it with him, and that's how I started. But there's not a single moment that like that I could define as that made me hit rock bottom. That's what it was. You know, it was just a sum of like just being tired over and over and over again.
Okay, fair. And also, very quickly, I want to ask, because when doing research, I saw that you went through a fitness journey in the past before, 16 to 23, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that helped you doing this 70 versus someone starting cold turkey?
I think it did. Like, it would be naive of me to say no. Or like it was. Like, I knew how to work out.
Yeah.
I didn't really know much about the diet side of things, but I knew how to lift weights. I knew how to exercise properly.
Yeah.
So it definitely did help me, and it's something that like you can always reference back. Like I've been through that struggle before of having to push myself.
Yeah.
And so it definitely did help. I would say for sure.
And I think that time the main motivator was you just want to get a girlfriend or something. You want to get girls.
Yeah.
So how's that? Are you married now? Do you have a girlfriend?
No, I'm not.
So you're just running through chicks now?
No, not at all, bro. The thing is, I don't have the time to do that now. You know what I mean? It's just like it gets replaced. Like back then, you're in university. That's all you got time for, man. It's like school and trying to chase girls.
Yeah.
Now it's like I got so many things on my agenda. Is like that's not a main priority for me right now.
Fair. And I want to ask, because you touched on meditation, obviously fitness has been a big part. Have you like, and if you come to talk about this, will you dabble in like the semen retention, no fap realm?
No, not really. Like I for like the 75 hard phases and shit, I didn't do it. Like I would try not to like do the semen retention or the no fap thing for 30 days or whatever during those phases, but it's like nothing I did seriously. You know what I mean?
Dude, he was out in China fucking. He was out there fucking.
Out there fucking slaying. God. Okay.
Yeah, let's skip the next one, but let's talk about. So you have a new audience, and it seems like you've literally taken social media like that. Are there any plans, or what are some of your goals you have with this new audience?
So I want to help as many people as possible, like it's because by showing them that it's possible, because a lot of people don't think that they can actually do it. You know, it's like there's 300, 400 pounds they're just sitting at their house and they don't think they could possibly do it. So I do want to get into the coaching business side of things and like actually helping people one-on-one, more intimate rather than just a mass scale thing that I'm doing now. It's just a matter of getting my schedule aligned with the shit that I do for Truewood and getting this in line. But it's definitely something I want to do.
That's sick. I also want to ask, what's it called? How does it fucking feel, man? Because obviously going from fat to now in shape, but like you almost went from being like more or less a nobody to fucking now famous.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel any different to me, bro. For real, like it feels the exact same. I'm the exact same dude.
Yeah.
Because like fame or like all these followers or something was never something I wanted to, you know. Yeah. And the thing is, like, bro, I fucking hate filming shit. I hate putting myself out there, you know, like. Bro, growing up,
he hates it here, guys.
Yeah, bro, growing up, man, or like not even growing up, before all this, my Instagram looked like a fucking bot account. Like it was like 5 posts. I'd never post stories, and like I'm just not a dude who puts my shit out there. And so it is uncomfortable for me to have to like sit in front of the camera. And as soon as I turn on that camera, it's like, bro, it's just like I'm get put in my head and shit. Yeah. So, but that's why I want to do it every single day, because it's like forcing me to do something that I have resistance to.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, bro, the resistance is your answer. The thing you have the most resistance to is the thing that you need to be doing.
Yeah.
And so that's what I try to live by.
Wow. Phenomenal. Okay, I think this is a great way for us to just jump into the Final Four.
Final Four, yeah. Before we go into Final Four, is there anything else you wanted to talk about or any other questions you have for us?
No, I think we're good, man.
Okay, so the question behind the scenes was, do people treat you different from when you were fat to now?
Yeah, people treat me different, but I don't think it's the way that most people think. So most people think that people treat you different because you look better, you know, you walk different, you're walking with more confidence. People treat me different because they know I value my word now, versus like I'm just a leaf in the wind, fucking blowing in whatever the direction the wind is. And so I am being treated different. I'm being taken more seriously because they know I don't say shit lightly anymore.
Okay.
If I say I'm going to do anything that I said I was going to do, I'm going to do it. Or I'm going to commit to coming to your house on this day, I'm going to come. Or anything that I said I'm going to do, you know what I mean? And so that's the difference in dynamic in terms of how people treat me now.
Okay, phenomenal. What about like the stranger, like just fucking your stranger encounters from being fat to now fit? Do you feel any difference in like the
like people look at you differently?
I think people do treat you differently, definitely, but that's because you're carrying yourself differently. It's not because you're a different person or the way you look. Because there is a ton of fat people who are fucking like the coolest guys ever, who are like running through chicks left and right.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like it's not. Sure. It has nothing to do with your appearance. It's how you feel about yourself. That's what it comes down to. And if your guilt or you feeling like shit stems from your appearance, then yes, your appearance is the reason why you have no confidence.
Fair.
But if you have no problem with your appearance, then that is not your problem with confidence. It's something else.
Okay, actual last question, then we're going to the Final Four. We have this new wave of like, what do you call it? Plus size models. Like, for example, like Lizzo and shit like that. How do you feel about that?
Bro, I think that is the fucking dumbest thing you could ever do. Like, bro, I'm sorry, but in terms of modeling or something, a model is someone that people look up to. And I understand the other side of things, right? Because people look at it and say it was unhealthy. These girls are on like Coke and champagne diets. They're like fucking half of a normal body weight. You know, I understand that. But then they just went the other side of the extreme. They literally have
happy middle.
They literally just went to the complete opposite end. Like, you are beautiful regardless in all shapes and sizes. No, you are fucking fat. You're gonna die in fucking 10 years if you keep going that way. And so that's my view on it. And putting them on the cover of a health magazine, which is what they're doing now, health in all forms and shapes and shit, as if there's some fucking icon that we need to look up to, is the dumbest thing. And I felt that way when I was fat. This isn't the same. Like, when I was fat, I knew what I was doing was wrong, and I did, and I knew this is not healthy. This is not something anyone should look up to. And these people are just fucking doing this as if this is now the new standard. God. It's like the dumbest thing. I do not agree with the body positivity movement.
There we go. That was a good one. Yo, real quick, just going across. We'll start with you, I guess. Lizzo, smash or pass?
Oh my God.
Smash for sure.
Pass,
I'm playing, bro. Hell no.
I'm passing that, brother.
All right, Final Four.
Okay, Final Four. Go
ahead.
If
you had to swap lives with someone for 24 hours, who would you pick? This is a rapid fire round.
Andy Frisella.
Okay.
Fair. Okay. Who would you say is the most motivating person of all time for you?
David Goggins.
Oh, okay. I was like, fuck. Okay, so your whole life from the day you were born till now is written in a book. What would the title of that book be called?
Fuck. That's a tough one. The come up.
The come up.
Okay, and then sorry, super quick, I have to ask,
Buddy.
before we ask the last question.
Okay.
In one of your clips, I saw you saying first thing you do in the morning, Uber Eats, go smoke a ton of cigarettes. Do you quit smoking cigarettes, or you still smoke?
I quit cigarettes and vaping, but now I just switched to nicotine gum, which is still like an addiction to something.
Okay.
But I'm weaning off the number of gums that I eat a day until that's going to hit 0.
So no more smoking or vaping.
No smoking or vaping.
Perfect. I had to ask. All right, last and final question of tonight. If today was your dying message to the world, what would your last message be?
Shit, this ain't a rapid fire question, bro. My dying message to the world, bro. Pick some hard shit in life, regardless of what it is, and just follow that. That'd be my final message.
Yeah, again, Bishop, thank you so much for coming on today, man. We had a phenomenal conversation.
Yeah.
Wish we could have had some more time, but that's fine. Let's just leave it at that. If y'all show enough love, let's run a part 2.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2 if you guys want to see it.
Appreciate y'all for having me, man. This
For
is
sure.
dope. For
Now,
We're going to put all of your links in the description below. Definitely go over and follow my Instagram. Some phenomenal content over there. Keep you motivated.
Yeah.
And take it away.
Yeah. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next time, remember,
Stay seeking success.
let's go.